Hi Ratnesh.
Right, right. We are live on Facebook also. We can go ahead. Yes, hi Vishruti.
Hi, hi, hi. Just a second. I think this is echoing. I'll just shift the headphones.
Sure. For me, it was clear, but maybe for you,
Yeah,
it was equal. Yeah.
yeah. So, hi everyone. I can already see few people joined, and I think whoever has joined will agree with today's topic being extremely interesting. A question which every parent or a fear every parent has, that how my child is going to learn to be uh, socially maybe acceptable, I guess. And for that, one thing which might be required would be to develop a social skill. And I'm emphasizing on this word develop because I think, again, that's uh, for me, it's a myth, but that's a very authoritative word whenever I'm saying that I need to develop this skill.
Yeah.
So, I really want to begin this We Talk, Ratnesh, with the simple question: what is a social skill?
I have no idea. uh, I think the different people would think of it possibly in different ways. In fact, I hadn't heard of this term till I started working with children and I started getting requests from people. So, okay. And the request will come in many forms, and one of the most common one was most common one, you can almost say one out of three parents will say that, as high as that, is that my
Yeah,
child is shy.
yeah.
This was such a common concern. Uh, See, at the time when we started working with children, this was around 1999, 2000, 2001. That's not the time when a lot of other people were doing programs for children. So there was only school typically, or very specific hobby classes. You have painting and you have whatever, robotics or something like very specific domain, hobby classes. But our kind of general programs for children were very less. So most of the parents will walk in with for these kind of programs, obviously not looking for hobby, not looking for school development, but looking for an answer to this question: my child is shy, can you do something about it?
And what magic did you do?
No, I didn't do any magic. I would almost invariably ask them, but sir or madam, whatever, I too am shy, right?
Yeah,
Now, what can you do about me? you know,
yeah, yeah.
because frankly, I've always been, meaning, forget the we talks part of it. People will say, you come on, we talk and talk whatever. So you can't be shy. I'll come to that little later. But if I look back at my childhood and all along, I was kind of shy person only. I would typically be with myself. I wouldn't easily make friends. Uh, I would just say otherwise, I was just plain lucky whenever I made friends. But that was not because I went out of my way or did something or was like the
Yeah,
popular
yeah.
or the talkative or the, you know,
Use any formula to make friends.
yeah. So I think I was a shy child in that sense, with this metrics of most parents have of whether you are on the shy side or the non-shy side, so the social side. So uh, yeah, I was on the shy side, I would say, almost throughout. Meaning, yeah, and uh, yeah, that's how I still look at myself. If there is a gathering, you won't see me going chatting with a lot of people. You'll see me sitting in one corner, maybe
Yeah.
enjoying a cup of tea. Uh,
Yeah. I also want to share this, that I myself have also been similarly categorized as a shy child, and
No, no,
A
no.
lot of
You can't
time
say all
I
that. You are an RJ. How can you say that?
So that's exactly what was so shocking for everybody, particularly from the school side, when they got to know that Vishruti is in the communication field. They were shocked. They could not believe, and they used to meet my parents and tell my parents that, "What are you saying? Vishruti never used to talk. She was such a shy child, and how come suddenly she started talking on air with millions of whatever lakhs of people?"
Yeah.
And I also want to mention one thing here, that when my husband approached and he said that I really want to get married to you and all that. um, I remember my mother called him, and she just said that she's not exactly how she looks when she's in the social atmosphere. And and she was like, you wait, you be with her for some time because you really need to know her. and
Kind of cautioning him. So sweet of her.
and my husband till date he says, how I wish that I would have heard her at that time. I could not understand. So I used to ask her that, why did you do that? Why did you tell him? And she was
Hmm.
like, because um, you know when you are with yourself, or the kind of interest you have, these are the things which are not so socially talked about, and this is not so normal kind. So
Yeah.
people who meet you, who see one side of you, might feel that this is what the real you is, kind. And it's not that
Yeah.
I'm any different than what I'm talking right now. It's just that I feel I take some time, before opening up my mouth. I take some time in just digesting and doing those stuff. So I always felt that, hmm, what is it that we are trying to analyze, or maybe comprehend, whenever we are using this word like shy, or let's say she's not so socially active. All
Yeah.
those words when we
Doesn't make
use.
friends
Yeah,
quickly.
yeah,
Doesn't
yeah,
mingle with
yeah.
people.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yes, yes, yes. And also, I'm still not a group person. I personally feel that it takes a lot of time for me to, just be equal to everybody in the group. I'll be close
Sure.
to only few
Sure.
of them kinds. Wherein my husband is absolutely opposite. He's he's like a group kinds. He's equal to everybody, and I've observed these approaches, and that is why this one question, like, it keeps hitting my mind, that what is a social skill. uh, what are we really trying to see in this word called
Okay. So
social?
maybe it would be interesting to again start with thinking what it is not. Let's kind of at least try, if within today's talk we can remove what is not a social skill, or what is not
Yeah,
possibly part of social skills. Then we can maybe possibly understand what is, slowly we can start understanding what is social skills over the next few
gradually.
we talks. Yeah, gradually. Okay. So one of the things which I want to say upfront to everybody is, please differentiate between what is called as confidence as opposed to social confidence. Yeah? Confidence versus so-called social confidence, or social skills, or the socializing abilities, right? A lot of people get concerned about this so-called shy or so-called introvert, so-called being with myself behavior, because they equate it with confidence, and they think that my child lacks confidence. He can't go on to the stage, he can't go on and talk to an uncle and auntie, or ask for what he wants, because he will come to me and say, mama, I want one more gulab jamun. Mama will say, go ask auntie. No, no, mama, you ask for it. No, no, go ask auntie, won't do anything to you, she will give it to you. No, mama, you ask. Very, very typical scenario, right? Now the mama is equating this with somewhere with the confidence. Oh, my child lacks confidence. And
Mm.
that is a huge thing for a lot of people. And then they start thinking, oh my goodness, because the child lacks confidence, that's not good for him, because confidence
Mm.
is very important. And because he lacks confidence, obviously it is not said that. So people, when they come and say that my child is shy, they also say he lacks confidence, almost in the same breath. Yeah.
Mm.
Now, what we need to realize is confidence is something totally to do with myself. If I can go ahead and, let's say, when I'm alone in my room, I can do a somersault, then I'm confident of doing a somersault. Or I can paint, then I'm confident of painting. Or if I can read, then I'm confident of reading. Or in an alone room, if a Vishruti is sitting with a mic and she can talk to lakhs of listeners, then she's confident in talking in a mic, right?
Yeah.
In saying her thoughts about that topic or that song that she's going to play next as an RJ. It's got nothing to do with the listeners. It's to do with what she is, because she's alone in the room. She's alone in one soundproofed
It's
room.
technically not in front of millions of people. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
you're not
Yeah. Yeah.
technically. Yeah, okay. So the aspect of confidence is to do with myself and my skills, my domain. Somebody who's good at crochet is confident in crochet. Somebody who's good at, let's say, running is confident in running. Somebody who's good at cooking is confident in cooking. It's got nothing to do with people per se. Confidence has got nothing to do with people. Right? Of all these million things that I can be confident, one aspect is I could be confident of talking to, let's say, strangers, right?
Yeah.
And just like cooking is not everybody's cup of tea or whatever domain,
Interesting.
running is not everybody's domain, and crocheting is not everybody's domain. Talking to strangers or talking to new people isn't everybody's domain. Now, the moment we realize that okay, so to say, social confidence is different from self-confidence, we don't confuse the two. Then we don't think that the child lacks confidence. And believe me, if we stop thinking that the child lacks confidence, because the child would like have confidence in the things that he or she likes doing, let's say painting or crocheting or whatever, paint, reading or mathematics or whatever the child is good at. So then once I start saying my child does not lack confidence, or rather, I start saying my child lacks confidence, then this mere thing of going and talking to stranger is just one small thing. If he is not able to, talk to too many strangers, he'll figure out. He will send somebody else, like Vishruti may send her husband to do a thing which she is not feeling like going and talking.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is
Yeah.
a big
Yeah.
one. This is a big one simply because of the numbers. In my last 20 years, the number one request by parents is about the child being shy, not being confident. And believe me, almost all of them mean confidence, as in how I'm talking about it. And if they
I
were
know.
to even separate it, if parents would separate these two out, then they would realize, my child is confident. Now it's a matter of small social skill, which is talking to a stranger, which, well, let's say this child doesn't have. Another child may not have the skills to uh, do a somersault. So how does that matter? It's just one skill among hundreds of skills.
Yeah. Yeah. And also maybe somewhere it may not be part of their interest also. I don't want to break that ice and talk to somebody who is a stranger. My need is simple, that I want something from the person, and that's all I'm focused on, maybe.
Absolutely. So, and again, as much as I may develop an interest in something else, let's say painting 20 years later, I may also develop interest in talking to people 20 years later. So at six, I am not into, let's say, painting, and I'm not into talking to new people. Okay, both
Hmm.
of these. Now, you might be okay with me not into being into painting, right? Then why are you
Yeah.
also not okay with me not wanting to talk to people? But at 20 years later, I may develop both of them. Who knows?
Yeah. 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 So
Yeah, I
true.
think I
Yes.
think Yanni is mentioning as a comment saying confidence is also believing in what you then compared to what others know. So yes, confidence is about me. Okay,
Yeah.
and maybe Vishruti, some other time, if you feel confidence is an important topic, we can take that as a theme, right? We can talk about confidence again, so to say, we have been in various ways talking about
We
it,
have touched
right?
that part. Yeah,
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 yeah, we've touched that part. But right now, forget. Let's just separate these two out, and I would say give a big sigh of relief that okay, my child is confident. Period. I would say every single child is confident in things that he or she likes doing,
yeah,
just like
yeah.
me and you are confident in whatever. So right now I'm confident in talking about this topic, but I may not be talking confident in talking about whatever nuclear physics. That's not my topic. If you tell me, Ratnesh, tell
Yeah.
me about nuclear physics, I'll say, oh, sorry, my connection is net connection is not good today.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I really like that. Was very, very interesting to see, to separate this to the confidence and the social confidence. Um,
Or the
I think,
social skill, yeah, yeah.
yeah, or the social skill, yeah. So I think the moment something gets attached to the people, or something which is outside, something which is not just about the child, it is more about including everybody, or the standards which we have created. I don't know from who has created and how it has been created, but the typical standards that we have created, I think all of those things fall into uh, a social skill maybe. But it is, I think it's more about we realizing how Ratnesh began saying that first let's figure out exactly what social skill is not. And I think one of the very, very fundamental and important thing is that it it has nothing to do with uh, the the something outside. First, let us just believe that the child is confident himself or
Yep.
herself.
Yep. Every child is. I can say
Each
that with
child
a
is.
guarantee. I can prove it with every single child and adult and so on and so forth. Right?
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
not trying to say that every child likes being social. That's a different thing. But
yeah,
I'm very confident that every child is very, very confident. In fact, I'll tell you that I was in a workshop. There was a lady there, and she said, "No, no, no, I'm not a confident person." I said, "Really?" She said, "Yeah, yeah, yeah, I'm not a confident person." So she wanted to talk a little more about it. I said, "Are you very sure that you are not confident?" She said, "Yes, yes, I'm very sure I'm not confident." I said, "Are you very, very, very sure?" Right. So
she's confident in not being not being
absolutely. She was so confident about it, and then everybody started laughing, right?
wow,
So
wow,
yeah,
yeah,
so we need to really separate these two out, and the moment we separate these two out, then when a child is coming from a perspective that I, let's say, don't want to either go in a group or meet new friends or meet new people or say my request, then we are able to see it in a little different way, or rather in a very different way. Yeah, then we
yeah,
start
yeah,
thinking about, okay, where is this coming from?
yeah, absolutely, yeah. And I was also thinking, particularly in the path of open learning, or let's say unschooling, or whatever people are naming it, however they are, this question comes as the fundamental one, that how the child, will develop
Hmm.
social skill. And I think somewhere when we are talking about social skill, when we are just talking about um, how we are not independent, we all are interconnected, internally dependent on each other. I don't think there is anything. I mean, whenever look at a very young child, like hardly a year or 2 years old, how they very flawlessly just right away will go to some uncle and snatch the thing, or right away take it or something. So I lot of time they make me wonder that do they really require any kind of training of communication or something to even connect with anybody on this earth socially.
Okay,
So
so you've given a very interesting example. So you are saying here is a, let's say, a 2 year old who goes and, let's say, interacts in some way. Let's say just snatches from somebody,
yeah,
some uncle or auntie, something, right? Uh, and so the question is, when will a child do that? No, not this same 2 year old will not do that with every uncle and auntie.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah,
and may not do it for everything.
yeah,
Yeah. So
absolutely.
so
Yeah.
so so when will this child go to this person and, let's say something or take something or demand something or request something?
When the child will feel safe,
Hmm. Okay. And
the child will have a need that I
sure. So the
need
child
this
has
so
a need.
desperately.
Yeah, the child has a need, and the child is feeling safe. Is there
Or
anything
also
else?
comfortable,
Yeah, safe, comfortable.
very
Okay.
safe,
So the child has a
comfortable
need, and the child is also feeling comfortable and safe.
with the adults. Yeah. And when the
Yeah.
child really wants to
Yeah.
really go to the person and talk to or take it from the person.
Absolutely. So if you see, there are two things which we are saying. We are saying that there is a need or a want or a desire, and on the other side there is this, uh, let's just call it a little hurdle called discomfort, or
Yeah,
anybody going to a new person is a discomfort. Anybody, right? Now the question is, how high is my need, or how high is this obstacle in front of me? It's like saying how high I can jump and how high is the obstacle, right? Now if you start understanding the balance, maybe the obstacle is too high even though I have a jump, but the obstacle is too high for me. Maybe the uncle has thick beard which don't look at. Maybe the auntie has these kind of specs which look very daunting to me. Who knows what is this obstacle, right? It can be a visual,
yeah,
it can be the auntie's tone of voice, it could be that when she entered, she said something or she did something. Maybe she pulled my cheeks, and now I'm not ready for any more interaction with this auntie, right? So it could be
yeah,
anything.
yeah,
The obstacle could go high because of anything, or the
yeah,
need or the want is not enough, not charged enough for me to jump whatever is the size of the obstacle. Right? So
yeah,
it's not just the need or the want, or it's not just the obstacle, but it's a kind of a balance between the two. If my jump
yeah,
is bigger, in the sense my need desire is bigger and I don't perceive the meaning bigger than the obstacle, then I'll jump over and do it. But when either the
yeah,
obstacle is too big or my whatever desire or need is not you know not big enough, then somewhere I will stop. And this is not just true for children.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. This
yeah.
is absolutely true for us.
Imagine there is a medical emergency. Let's say on the road, right? Let's say somebody has fainted. Will you even hesitate going to any shopkeeper and saying, pani do, give me water?
Yeah,
I don't
yeah,
think you
yeah,
will hesitate. Now your need or desire is far high. Your jump is what I was talking about, is far high because somebody has fainted, right?
yeah,
So the need
yeah,
and
yeah,
desire now is far bigger. Even if somebody looks dashing, even if prime minister is standing with a bottle of water, you will run and say, give me the bottle of water, this guy is fainted, right? You won't think he's the prime minister or he's
yeah,
the
yeah,
president or he's the CEO of some big company. How does it matter at that time? So the jump
yeah,
is your far more, right now the hurdle, no matter how big it is, you are least bothered. Right? So I'm obviously giving an
true.
extreme case, or the other way around, where the obstacle is brought down either because the person acts in a certain way, or there has been some kind of preparation done, some kind of familiarization done before. Maybe you have spoken to this person over the phone, and the person was very courteous and nice to you, and you felt comfortable. Then when you met that person, now it's the obstacle is much smaller. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah,
again, a lot is between this balance. And if you were to understand either of the two, either that okay, maybe the desire is not so big, or maybe the hurdle is big, and the hurdle could be for any reason whatsoever. It could be a visual thing. It could be just a fearful feeling because which can come for any reason. It could be just somehow the person behaved, the mannerism, and so on. And I'm again repeating, it is as you can say applicable to adults as it is for children. So it's got nothing to do
yeah.
with that. Yeah, if somebody gives you a look which you're not comfortable with, then chances are you won't go and kind of talk to
Never.
them.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Also, I want to add here. when you were mentioning about an experience, I also could remember for a very, very long time, till I almost was a teenager, almost 15, 16 years of age. I was never comfortable talking to anybody over the phone. Never, ever.
Mhm,
If my father will
mhm,
ask me that, just call that uncle, you needed this, no? So if I have a need, it is always I would suggest my parents, then my mother, my father, I will go to my sister and I'll ask them, please call him and tell him, no, that I need this. And I always used to hesitate calling up people. Picking up also the call was never, I always was not so okay with it.
mhm.
And now I realize I don't even know when I got so comfortable with it. Now things are absolutely different.
The opposite.
Now they tell me, oh, we should just call this person up and call for the things. But yeah, I remember this very, very clearly that I always was very, very hesitated about talking to new people or even the people I know. And I think one of the major thought which even somehow today, if I just reflect and try and think that what was stopping me, I feel that one thought that how the uncle will feel. What if I say
Hmm.
this and uncle feels bad? What if he doesn't find me very courteous enough or something like that? All those images which we have created for ourselves and
Sure.
even for the society. So somewhere addressing all of these things helped me that do I really want to portray myself as a very courteous and a very great girl or whatever, like good girl and whatever. And the moment I started addressing all of these things, I started realizing that the hurdles were within me somewhere. And if I'm okay, if I don't think about what others are thinking, then automatically I become very comfortable with myself. So I'm just talking about my personal experience, which I feel has helped me, or which I chose to at least address and then do something about it at
Yeah.
least, which
See,
again was part of my choice.
what I am getting from your story is that somewhere you were given that self acceptance, that okay, it's
Yeah,
okay that you are not going and calling people and getting things on the phone, right? Now that acceptance did the magic, I would say. So if you ask me what is it that made me now comfortable over phone so much so that I'm an RJ, I would say it's the acceptance. Yeah. Let's look at it this way. Imagine if everybody in this world was a painter, right?
yeah.
Or or everybody was a
He's an
mathematician
RJ.
or an RJ. Right?
Everybody's talking, nobody's
Right.
listening. Yeah,
The point that I'm trying to say is uh, that it's isn't it beautiful that everybody is not a painter and everybody is not an RJ and everybody is not a mathematician and everybody is not whatever, and that we are all different kinds, right?
yeah,
In much the same way, if you understand that social skills is a skill, and just like a painting skill or a drawing skill, it's just one skill, and it's good that
yeah,
everybody doesn't have it, as in
yeah,
everybody is not an extrovert, so to say, and that there
yeah.
is some people who are quite extrovert, there's some people who are quite introvert, and perhaps both are equally happy in their life, that
Absolutely.
one or the other is not necessarily more successful. And interestingly, most of us are somewhere in between. Yeah, we are neither a complete introvert nor a complete extrovert, but somewhere in between, more
Just like my
extrovert than
mother
our.
shared with my husband.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah,
So it's important to also realize that social skills is not a factor for success, because I can be successful
absolutely.
in any which way. I can be just sitting at my home writing poetry and be a great poet, or being in a studio and playing an instrument and be a great musician. Or I can, so I great as in I don't need to be famous, but I can be a good enough musician to have a great life. So
Yeah,
I'm saying, the, apart from a bunch of professions which require you to interact with others. And there also, it's more of a professional thing than actually a social skills
Yeah.
per se.
Yeah.
We'll come to that little in just a little while. But more importantly, I would say, if we again remove this whole thing that social skills is something which is kind of required for success. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
once we have removed that stress from it, then we are able to give that acceptance to somebody who is not interested in it, at least not at this moment. Like you were not interested in picking up a phone and talking to people,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? Then
And
we
I
are
also want
able
to,
to give that. And giving that acceptance gives them the space whether they want to actually work on this skill or not.
absolutely. Yeah. I just want to mention this here very clearly. This is almost like an insider story that I'm sharing with everybody. But even in the field of radio,
Yeah.
we have two kinds of RJs. One RJs who are extremely extrovert, who, like, like they say things as they are and they are similar on air. And
Right.
then there are other kind of RJs who are very, I wouldn't say that they are not themselves when they are on air, but then they choose to talk about certain things with the society, and then there are a lot of internal talks which happens within them also. So
Yeah.
if you see them personally in their personal life, you will find, oh my God, this guy doesn't talk or this girl doesn't talk at all. What is she doing? You might find them, sometimes I feel some lot of people tell me that you're so boring, and I'm like, okay, I really have to be interesting. I don't know. So I'm
This
sorry,
is
but
so
then
interesting.
yeah, and like there are two categories very prominent, and there are very few people from outside who can know this fact that RJs also can be extremely calm and silent when they are at home. So a lot of people used to tell me that, oh, you talk so less at home. I always say that मेरा सारा कोटा ऑफिस में ही खत्म हो जाता है, मैं घर पे आके नहीं बोलती. So yeah, just to share this so that everybody feels that even in the fields where talking or social skills or communicating with people, dealing with people is an extremely essential part. There are people, it's not that I'm not comfortable with people. It's just that I
Yeah.
also want to have my own space, my own time. Being with myself is something which is extremely important for me as an individual. So yeah, I think these are just simple choices that everybody is making, and there is nothing wrong in being both the ways. I think both the people, both the kind of people. I'm not trying to tag them with something, but the kind of interest they have, both the kind of people are extremely amazing in their own way.
Absolutely. And if we take that thought and say, if all kinds of people are extremely amazing, yeah, then the acceptance given to somebody then they can decide how much of this social skill, whatever it is, they want to develop, they want to get into. What if they don't want to get into it at all, which is absolutely fine? What if they want to get into it little or little more or little more or lots? So then it's up to me. And at different stages of my life, I can just choose uh, the skill and the development of that skill or the usage of that skill, yeah,
Yeah,
um,
yeah,
according to my choice, and not driven by that, hey, this is a sought after skill. Kind of, it's
yeah,
become one just like, in school you have the maths ones which are like looked upon, in the same one the social ones which are looked upon, right? These
yeah,
two characteristics I really considered as amazing, but that's not really true, right?
yeah,
Happiness, success, satisfaction in life, all of these are not determined by social skills at all. So
yeah,
one has to remove that image from this whole social skill business, that it is important, that
yeah,
it is vital for success, or something like that. The moment we remove that importance, then the importance is not on social skills, but its importance is on my needs, my wants, how I want to be right now. And I
absolutely,
think
on the
that's
child.
that's that's the most amazing gift I can give to somebody. Say, hey, however you are, it's awesome.
Yeah, yeah. And I think the moment any child gets this acceptance that no matter however I am, I'm acceptable and I'm okay within my own skin. I think automatically things. I'm not saying that you are accepting the child because you want to change something about the child, but then
Yeah.
automatically I'm saying the areas that the child feels like addressing, or the child really needs to work on. For example, when I joined media, I was into the field of architecture, and when I joined media, somewhere I felt that I don't open up easily, I don't share my thoughts easily, was somewhere struggling. Then I think I worked on it because I had a need at that time. So I strongly feel that when there is a need, it will be worked. I guess worked out. Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you
Yeah.
think?
Absolutely. That's the jump that I was talking about. When the need is there, when the desire is so big, then there. And as I said, it's also to do with where what one wants, right, in life. At what age, what one wants. We also tend to confuse social skills with so-called personality traits, right? That, oh, if my child at young age is shy, then he will forever be shy. Or if my child is at young age very talkative and very outgoing, then for his life he will be very talkative and very social and all that. But if we look back,
Yeah.
we all change for various reasons, right? We evolve in many different ways at different points of our life. Yeah. So I don't think it's got anything to do with a kind of this whole tying it to a person. See, I agree. Between two 5-year-olds, one could be, let's say, very talkative, one could be very quiet and two by herself. But that just does not indicate anything about the future. Right?
Yeah.
So what I'm also trying to do is social skills are not constant. They are not like written in your genes kind of a thing, that okay, now I'm born with it, and if not corrected in the first whatever 6 7 8 10 years of my life, I'm like doomed for life. I will not be talking all my life with anybody. I mean, it just doesn't matter this way. It can evolve in whichever fashion the individual wants to evolve it.
Yeah.
So it is
Yeah.
definitely
Yeah.
not a constant. It's definitely not a fixed thing. It is as evolving as we all are. We all are.
Absolutely. Yeah. 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 So somewhere I think the whole word called social skill is the way we are looking at is like, oh, it's so big, if my child is not having a social skill somewhere, it is going to hamper his development and his growth,
Yeah,
and it is going to, how will he manage in the future and all that. But I think if we just, what you said very beautifully, if we just understand that that is one more skill, that
yeah,
like a skill of writing, or writing in a calligraphy is a skill. Similarly, it's just one more skill. And when there is a need, like you very rightly gave the example of somebody fainting, and if I have to go to a medical shop and ask for a medicine or a water, I think automatically my skills will be developed. Yani is also sharing, I have been criticized constantly that by not sending my daughter to school, she will never develop social skill. Yeah.
yes, yeah. That
Yeah.
unfortunately is how people look at. People think that school is a place where we develop social skills. Yeah, but if I look back at my classroom, I would see all kinds of children. And I'm, let's say, if I look at, let's say, my 12th standard classroom. So let's say this is like the end of the schooling now, right? I can see all kinds of children from very quiet introvert to very extrovert. So if school was to develop the so-called social skills, then everybody should have it at the same level. Just like everybody should
Yeah.
be able to paint at the same level, or everybody should be able to calculate at the same level, or sing at the same level. Yeah, but
Yeah.
that's not
Yeah.
true. So it is more to do with what I want in my life at different stages of my life. So
Yeah.
what I'm
Yeah.
trying to kind of conclude, Vishruti, is that when we are concerned about social skills, we are actually not concerned about social skills. We are either concerned about confidence, or we are concerned about success, or we are concerned about personality. He will or she will become
Future.
like this
Yeah.
future kind of personality.
True.
Okay, but we are not talking about social skills. All these three things are not about social skills. We are concerned about something else, and we are kind of loading it onto the social skills.
So true.
Right.
Yeah.
So at least social skills have got nothing to confidence, nothing to do with success, or nothing to do with personality per se.
Yeah. Now I address how many? I don't know. I think thousands of people I've addressed even in my shows in US. So
Mhm.
you can imagine the girl who never even wanted to talk to somebody over the phone, feeling so shy. I used to go in my room whenever any uncle or auntie will come and visit my place. I was that, if you really want to call me shy, I was that shy. But then now I address so many people from the stage, and I really don't feel any kind of hesitation or fear any point of time in my life going on a stage in front of so many people. I think
Yeah.
a lot of social skills are were there, are not there, still there, not going to be there in the future. I don't know. I think Yani also mentioned the similar beautiful thing. She said that people used to constantly criticize that a daughter will not develop social skills, but when they get a chance to talk to my daughter, she stopped this point and start on another. So I think what
Yeah,
what
she
you're
will talk
trying
on
to
the
say,
point she wants to
yeah.
talk, obviously.
And I think is I
Yeah,
don't I
one more
Shah,
comment.
I don't know. Yeah, somebody is saying
Yeah,
socialization is the first question I'm asked when people get to know that we homeschool. Yeah, my son has many friends in the neighborhood and other hobby classes, but people still think that's true. Yeah, I completely agree with what you said, and that is what even I mentioned earlier with Ratnesh, that the social skill is something which is highly addressed in
yeah.
the
Let me,
past.
since couple of people are talking about homeschooling, let me share the story of my daughter. Right, Asabri, when she was young, she would mostly stay by herself. She would not. We were in a big colony. There were lots of. It's kind of a gated community, so there were lots of kids. But she would not go and play with any of the kids. She will play all by herself. Right? So not at all, not much social, except for one or two friends whom she knew. So she was unschooled completely. So she would just go with us, go on trips with us, and all that, but not much social. So this kind of continued. She got few more friends, but she was still not very social or anything like that. But when she, let's say, became 17, 16, 17, she started herself saying that now I'm looking for company of my age, 60 at that age, 17, 18 age. And then she started making friends with her age group, that is at 17, 18, 19, 20. And now she's 22. I wouldn't say that she's very extrovert. She still likes spending a lot of time by herself, but she can interact with, and
And
she has lots of well, let's not call friends, but her social circle is has many dimensions, many colors, many hues, which she has developed as per her liking. At no
yeah,
point there is anything that, no, you should have large circle or small circle or this kind of circle. So she has many kinds of circles, and she runs a business totally using social media, and it thrives on
yeah,
that, right? So I'm saying, she can do business, she can talk to people, connect with people, while at that age she just didn't feel like it, and as and when she had to develop those skills because of her need, her desire, they just came to her naturally. It didn't need it to put any effort. You didn't have to put her into any book or a class or a or
yeah,
anything.
confidence class. Yeah,
Confidence class, absolutely.
yeah. So true. Yeah, yeah.
So I
I
would
think
I would I would say, if we are not concerned with social skills, then social skills automatically develop the way the child wants to develop it or
yeah.
needs to develop it.
Yeah, yeah. And I also want to mention here, I think Shah Siddiqui, she also has mentioned that people say, what if he becomes loner or introvert? I want to say there was this small short film I watched on YouTube called Introvert, and
Hmm.
the short film is having a girl who is extremely introvert, who doesn't talk to more people, but then she writes a lot, and I don't want to go to the result area and make it very huge in front of people. But if you watch that film, you realize that every introvert person also has a way of expression. The way every extrovert is expressing themselves in terms of words and communication, even introverts always find their own ways of expression. The beauty is that Every person, whoever is also spending time with themselves, when they are spending time with themselves, they are also doing something. They are thinking, they are exploring, they are drawing, they are painting, they are writing, they are recording, whatever they are doing, but they are doing something. And I think it's our idea in our heads that somebody who is spending time with themselves are wasting their time or doing nothing, and I don't know how we have categorized those things. So
Sure.
I think that is also something we should really consider as a parent when.
Yeah. In fact, I would say, I would even go to the extent and say, let's forget this whole term called personality type. There are no personality type. There are no introverts. There are no extroverts. They're just people, each one very uniquely different from each other. That's it. How does it matter? What personality type? I think that's a complete hogwash. That's a complete useless term. I think there are no personality type. There is just a person. The nality you remove, right? In ality or whatever at the end of the person. To me, Vishruti is a person, and so on and so forth. Everybody is just a person. That's it. And that person is unique, and how he or she is right now is how he or she is right now. That's it. Simple.
I really love the way you and Aditi both always, liberate us from the limiting ideas of sticking to a word and all of that. This is so brilliant. I think yeah, Sala, yes, I got your name now. I'm so sorry. Yeah. She's saying my husband is an introvert. He did 12 years of formal schooling. Yeah, me too. On other hand, I am an extrovert. So yeah, I totally get your point. Yeah, this is. Somebody else also is saying we are nuclear family. We don't have a big social circle other than relatives. My kids are not going to school. Are we hindering some experience for our kids? Oh, you need to revisit this entire we talk then.
I will put it this way to Mariam. Yes, yes, yes. You are definitely hindering some experience. See, there is at this moment, your child can get 1 zillion experiences, but the child can only get one. So the rest of it, the child cannot get. Right? The child can be
Yeah.
in 1 million cities right now, eating 1 million cuisines right now. They're watching 1 million types of dances, listening to 1 million musics, talking to 1 million people. Right? Yeah, but the child can only eat one dish, which be in one city, talk to one person, listen to one music. So
Yeah,
if
and
you
be in
look
the
at
one
it that
group only.
way, and be in one group. If you look at it that way, are we hindering? Yes. Are we hindering? No. Is the child only enjoying what is there at this moment? Yes. And we are what we are at this moment. So
Yeah.
let's come out of this, that we are this and we are that and this is this and this is that, and just enjoy the moment, because that's the only thing we can do at any point of time. Whether I go and ask the auntie for gulab jamun, or I ask Vishruti, hey, get me the gulab jamun.
Wow. Yeah. So I think one very important thing, just to summarize in 2 3 lines, one thing that you talked about is there are like social skills. If it's about interacting with others and child interacting with others or uncle or auntie or any friend also in the surrounding, there are two things which the child addresses. One is the need, how bigger is the need, and second is the hurdle, like discomfort or something which the child has to jump over and reach to the need. So sometimes the child chooses to jump over that hurdle and reach to the need. Sometimes the need is not that big that the child feels like jumping also. And sometimes the hurdle looks too big, so the child chooses not to even jump.
Yeah.
So any which ways, I think what as a parent we can offer is a complete acceptance, maybe. And
And gulab jamun.
yeah,
Whenever the child asks.
that was the child answer, yeah. And also, let's I think think at least about it that social skill is also just like one skill. That's it. The way we have a skill of calligraphy, skill of painting, similar skill, and let it just be a skill only, and don't 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 make it so big in our lives. Yeah.
Yeah.
You want to add
Cool.
anything?
No, just serve me gulab jamun. I will rather
Just
relish that.
or maybe laddus, Ratnesh
Oh,
favorite
laddus.
laddus. Yeah.
Yes.
Lovely. Thank you. Thank you so much, Ratnesh. I think we have covered all the questions. Is there anything on
Yeah.
Facebook? Did you check?
No, that's pretty much it. Yeah. Let's continue this discussion. Let's explore more about social skills, or rather, like, let's remove all the stuff from around it, and then maybe when we find it, we'll say big deal.
Yeah.
So let's continue that.
Done. Yeah. We will talk
Yeah.
about and we'll continue talking about social skill in the next week talk also. Thank you so much,
Yeah.
Ratnesh.
Most welcome.
Thanks a
Thank you
lot.
so much.
Bye.
Yeah. Bye.